Tonight on The Probe, we dig deep into the harrowing experiences of rent seekers caught in a system where middlemen hold unchecked power and regulators remain disturbingly silent. In a country battling a housing deficit of about 1.8 million units, as revealed by the 2021 Population and Housing Census, Ghana's rental market has become a hotbed for exploitation. So-called agents are cashing in on a largely unregulated system, while landlords, emboldened by weak enforcement, blatantly disregard rules meant to protect renters. The result? Thousands of Ghanaians are priced out, exploited, or left stranded with nowhere to turn to. Now, state agencies meant to protect renters are often underfunded, indifferent, or completely powerless. Now, take the Rent Act 1963 Act 220, which was later amended by the Rent Control 1986 PNDC Law 138. These laws were created to, among others, assess and approve rent charges and increases, enforce the legal limit on rent advance, currently 6 months, if you know, registered tenancy agreements, mediate landlord-tenant dispute, and crack down on unlawful evictions and rent exploitation. And yet, the problems persist. In 2020, the Real Estate Agency Act, Act 1047, established the Ghana Real Estate Agency Council to, among others, regulate real estate agency practices, license agents and brokers, promote ethical standards, safeguard the interests of buyers, sellers, landlords, and tenants, and sanction unlicensed and unethical practices. Still, the rent seeker is no better off. So tonight, we ask, where do rent seekers turn when laws are ignored and the housing crisis deepens? We'll examine the systemic failure, the legislative loopholes, and explore what needs to change. To help clarify matters tonight, Madam Victoria Osei Sampa. She is founder and CEO of the Ghana Real Estate Professionals Association, GREPA. Emmanuel Hovek-Bosu is the PRO of the Rent Control Department, and Frederick Opoku, Secretary General of the National Tenants Union of Ghana. The Probe is live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV 125, on Joy 99.7 FM, and all our social media handles at Joy News on TV, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. Stay tuned.
It's Saturday morning in here at Palladium, Jamestown. And for once, these young women haven't gone to work. Instead, they are scrubbing the floor and straightening their little shared space. Their only retreat in a city that demands too much and gives too little.
My full name is Juliet. I just come here to work.
My name is Diana. I come from Kumasi.
My name is Martha Safo. I come from Kumasi.
This single wooden room is home to Judith, Dinah, and Martha. Strangers brought together by hardship, now co-tenants trying to make ends meet.
I came here to sell to make some small money so that I can take care of my younger brothers. The place I came from, the Eastern region. There is no one there. It's like my grandmom, and my grandmom dead, so I have to come here.
Now, Judith lives with two other young women, all traders, all with stories of survival. Their rent is 800 Ghana cedis a month. They split it to keep a roof over their heads.
At first it was five, yeah. And other one moved to this side, we left it 3. Then I and Martha were shared to pay the rent, 2.8. And the landlord take it 3 months or 2 months. So you have to pay it every 2 months or 3 months.
Each of us contributes 70 cedis every week. At the end of the month, we use it to pay the rent. It's hard. I don't make good sales every day.
It began with hope. Bright Usi, a hard-working young man, had saved diligently to secure a new beginning with his girlfriend.
Around that time, I was about getting married. I was preparing to get married, and then by then I was living in a chamber in home. So I I went online. I saw this 2-bedroom apartment at the Achimota area. The guy I got in contact with was the agent. The apartment was going for a 2,000, and then I asked for a reduction of 1,500.
Once Bright expressed interest, the agent offered to introduce him to the supposed landlord at his residence.
So just when we got there and I parked, then I saw the man coming out from his car in a rush, wearing those man's holding Bible. So he was like, sorry.
As expected, the meeting took place, but under rather unusual circumstances. In total, Bright paid 18,000 Ghana cedis advance payment.
I actually gave him cash.
Okay.
So I made the payments. He gave me a receipt. Right after collecting the money, they moved on a very top speed.
Like a punch to the gut, Bright was hit with the truth. The landlord's residence was actually a movie house.
So I got there, I'm like, oh, Mr. Eno. Then a guy looked at me and like, who is Mr. Eno? I am a movie house.
Bright turned to the police for justice, then a petition to the IGP.
That very moment, I went to Mile 7 police station. Before I got there, about 2 people had already been there to make complaint about them being about the similar issue.
He's going to increase the rent for no reason.
Emilia Boche has been searching for a single room for the past 3 months, but every time it ended the same way. Pay 2 years rent up front or keep searching. She earns just 700 Ghana cedis a month, money she used to make working as a supermarket attendant. At that rate, saving even 1 year's rent felt impossible.
From 1,000 to 1,500 was 1 year. And then
Emilia searched and pleaded with several landlords to accept just a 1 year advance. But even that wasn't enough. She was still priced.
Well, clearly the call is loud and urgent. Good, and Ghana needs stronger enforceable rent regulations. Because we just heard from some rent seekers in the clip we just played a while ago, let me begin with the Rent Control Department. Emmanuel Hove Bosu is the PRO of the Rent Control Department. Now, the Rent Control Department is mandated to enforce law lies the 6-month, period within which, tenants are supposed to pay. Why is it so difficult for the Rent Control Department to enforce this simple law, 6 months?
Okay, so Carlos, I want to greet your viewers and to thank my chief manager, Mr. Ampofo, and the chief director of the Ministry of Works and Housing and Water Resources. And a special thanks to the Minister, Honorable Ken Ajay, for giving me the opportunity to represent him here on this platform.
Right.
So now to your question. We are using the Rent Act 1963, that's the Act 220. The Act 220 under Section 25, subsection 5, stipulates that when it comes to the 2 tenancies, as we have them, the short tenancy and the long tenancy. With regards to the short tenancy, the law forbids any landlord from demanding more than 1 month rent. The short tenancy is a tenancy that is up to 6 months. Beyond 6 months is considered a long tenancy. And if it comes to the long tenancy, the law forbids the landlord from demanding more than 6 months rent advance. When you look inside the law, we see that there's a lacuna, as we see, there's a gap. Because nothing forbids the landlord from collecting more than the 6 months rent advance. Nothing forbids the tenant from opting to pay more than the 6 months rent advance. So if
but
we
is that
see
not clear?
lacuna,
If it's for a shorter period, the law says it's within 6 months.
Yeah, within 6 months.
The homeowner should not take more than 6 months.
No, should not demand.
Demand, okay.
Yes. But if you offer it and I accept, at
so
that point,
where is the lacuna then?
The lacuna there is that if I don't demand it and you give to me, I have the right to collect it. And it has not even stopped the tenant from opting to pay more than the monthly rent. If it comes to the long tenancy, The lacuna there is that only the landlord is forbid from demanding. The land where there is demand. So if you come before a landlord and the landlord tells you that this is my property, I take 2 years, and you have it, any evidence, because when we go to the court, the rule of the game at the court is evidence. So if I lay the person before the magistrate, what evidence do you have? It cannot just be saying that I went there and he demanded it. Oh, sorry, he demanded more than 6 months. What evidence do you have? So it's not a matter of we cannot implement the law. That lacuna in the law is what we currently want to cure. In the bill that we are laying or we are having stakeholders discussion, we want to cure that. So that when you demand or you receive more than the stipulated amount or the duration, then you commit a crime. As we speak now, it will not be a crime if a landlord receives more than 1 year rent advance or the more than 6 years rent advance, 6 months rent advance. So this is the lacuna. So it's not a matter of... So
you've been to court on this issue several times, and you're telling us on the game here, yes, that when you take such homeowners to court, you're unable to win cases because there is a lacuna.
There's a lacuna. Okay, that is what we want to cure in the current
So the rent control
bill.
Department has not been successful at prosecuting even one single person.
Because tenant or the prospective tenant have not been able to provide us with evidence.
What kind of evidence?
The kind of evidence is that when you went before the landlord demanded more than the 6 months. The landlord demanded 2 years. So you have document to show, or you have a recording to show that when I went, I wasn't the person who offered more than the 6 months rent advance, but the landlord demanded it and he has collected it. That is when the person has offended the law.
That is the only circumstance that
is the only
you can use to now pin down the homeowner.
That is it.
And you've not been able to gather any of that.
Carlos, that is the issue, because at the time the tenant and the landlord are negotiating, we were not there. So if we were not there to take evidence to sanction or punish the landlord, then you, the person who were negotiating or who negotiated with the landlord, you have to provide us with the evidence so that we can assist you and then sanction the landlord if he found culpable.
So it means the law has an issue.
That is what.
So let me bring in Frederick Opoku. Do you feel protected under this law then?
First of all, let me say a very big thank you to you,
our viewers.
Yes, of course, and our viewers. I think this is a great opportunity for us to express ourselves. And I have met Mr. Kosu number with that time. And there's always one way I describe the entire rent control system. Ghana Tenant Union have called for rent control to be scrapped because it has clearly proved that they are incompetent, inefficient, and for that matter, their existence is a waste of the public purse.
Why?
I'm coming. You know, rent control or the Rent Act, as he clearly mentioned, that if they demand, that's where the problem is. Is that right?
According to him, that's what the law says.
Now, my brother, this country, one very important thing we should all acknowledge is the scarcity and the shortage of what? The
housing
supply.
Unit, right?
And that has necessarily caused a shortage, which means that the market forces will play.
Demand and supply.
Exactly will play. At this material moment, we all acknowledge that there is a shortage. However, the law, according to Section 25, maybe better interpretation. I wonder why all the time Mr. Kosu and the rent control really want to shield behind that to prove their innocence and incompetence. That if indeed you are telling us that the landlord did not demand, have you ever gone to any place called any apartment that the landlord never demanded? If you say you have this, okay, you say no. He may be a victim to that, but maybe he want to save his face, and their faces, they will say that's the way it should happen. Okay. But my brother, what I'm saying is that it is untrue. Like definitely, the landlord always know that there's a shortage, and that whatever price he pegged it, if you can't go, definitely the person cannot go and sleep outside. Look at what these young ladies were talking about. They are paying 800 Ghana cedis a month. Why wouldn't they allow? Because the landlord will never give in because it is a way that they used to make their monies. So if they come to you and you sit on a case, or a case is brought to rent control, then that is where you stand. Then we are sorry. That we can never be protected in any way. Therefore, what is the relevance of rent control being there? I'm asking you. What are they doing there?
All right. That's a big question. We would want him to respond to. So if we
ask that it should be scrapped, and that if indeed, until the law is repealed, it's amended, then all the officers, including the chief rent officer, plus Mr. Posu, shouldn't be allowed to work because the tenants supposed to be protected by the law.
So as it stands now, have you in any case been protected as a tenant association? Maybe you had an issue, you took it to the rent control, just one?
Severally. He's aware.
No, so I'm asking, have you been able to get justice?
No, not at all. How would you? Because look at his position. He has just made it clear that their hands are tied because the law is not working, or the law is a lacuna. And to that we create that lacuna, they can't do anything.
Do you believe there's a lacuna?
There is any lacuna. They want to hide it because of their incompetence. I'm saying that he who sees equity must come with clean hands, right? Sure. I'm a tenant. I come to you with my case. Now, I am expected that the landlord who has taken the rent advance exceeding 6 months should not be entertained at all.
Why?
Why would you? Because the law says, under section 25, let us read it well, that any landlord who demands, are you okay?
Sure.
And if you bring 9 out of 10 tenants, they will tell you point blank that we gave this, they say you won't take it.
But the point he made actually really was about you establishing if indeed the homeowner demanded. If you can prove that, then they can prosecute your case.
I'm telling you that many tenants have been there proving that, but they will tell you that at the time the thing was going on, how do you prove it? No, how do you prove that, my brother?
Okay.
So the point is that they are hiding behind all this they cannot do. I'm telling you that rent control today, I'm sad why they are paying people over there. And Kwame Nkrumah, you know, the rent act came during Nkrumah's regime.
Exactly.
Do you think that there was no protection for the tenant, and it was done that time? In fact, let me be very frank with you. The way the law is positioned, it meant not to ensure that tenants are not necessarily what?
Protected.
Like the landlord do not unnecessarily what? Take advantage over the tenants.
Okay.
I'm telling you. But it was supposed to protect them. Now, are you aware that no landlord in this country, no landlord can't sit down and charge his own rent?
I know.
Unless there's an assessment.
Yes. So
ask him. No, let me put it to him. Ask him. Has there been an occasion whereby any landlord who brings case there has submitted a document that I've assessed, and he rent control this man, Mr. Kosu, has he ever gone to any place to assess any room? And does he have what it takes to say, when was the last time he went with any tenant that, okay, have your room be assessed? The landlord has also broken the law over there. Is that not so?
Sure.
Because the law says you cannot come out with your own what do you call it? Charge. Yeah. Unless the rent control come to do assessment. And if you have not done assessment, the rent control will look at the economic issues, your maintenance, where the premises is. For example, East Legon, and let's say Agbogboshi. Okay. Is it the same?
No, not the same.
So one room at East Legon can never be the same as what? Agbogboshi. Therefore, it is incumbent on the rent control people, like Mr. Kosu, to go there and ensure that it's assessed. So if a landlord brings a case to you, and that assessment has not been done, that he has not followed the due process, therefore he has erred, why do you entertain him?
Okay, so that's the second reason why you think the department should be scrapped.
So therefore, if all these things come, no assessment, the person came, he owes me this. How do you arrive at what he owes you? If you can't prove that, then what is your reason for being there?
Okay. So you think the rent control should be scrapped
based on what I have told you, Karoni?
These two reasons.
We are advancing.
Okay.
Let's answer some of them.
All right. I'll let you respond quickly, but let me bring in Madam Victoria Osei Sampa. From your experience in the real estate space, Mr. Posu is telling us there is a lacuna in the law. Based on your experience, do you agree?
Viewers, thank you to my brother, Mr. Posu, and my brother from the rent agency. Well, from where I sit and from listening to Mr. Posu and my other brother, I do not see a lacuna. What I see is that the laws are not working. The Rent Act is old and will need to be reviewed. The rent control name will have to be changed. And you say rent control. What are you trying to say? Rent control, are you controlling the rent? Or what are you trying to do? We need to sit down and look at the name of that department. And we also need to look at the law, which is very, very old. I know they've been working on that act, and I'm not sure how far they've gone. But from where I sit, I am the founder and CEO of the Ghana Real Estate Ghana Real Estate Professionals Association. I work with the professionals, but at the same time, I've been a victim. And I think Mr. Posu and Fred is aware of all this.
Share your story with us then.
Yes.
My story will be told later. But I've been a victim of all these things we're talking about. Asking for rent more than, 1 year, duplicating rent amounts over and above whatever they're supposed to charge. We've had issues in the industry, and a lot of people have done that. We need to sit down and look at the laws very well.
Okay.
We currently do have the Ghana Real Estate Agency Act. What is the relationship between the Rent Control Act and also the Ghana Real Estate Agency Act 1047? These are things that we need to review and find out. Are these two acts working together? Are there any overlaps on these Rent Act? When it comes to agents and their relationships with landlords, agents are also going through a lot. Some of them are not even being paid. So the entire industry will need to be reviewed. We need to sit at the table with the rent control, with the agents. The laws will have to be reviewed. And,
so for you, there's no lacuna in the current law, but the law is old. That's your position.
The law is old, yes. I don't see a lacuna, but I see that the law is old. It needs to be reviewed, and these stakeholders and the agencies will have to sit down and plan on how we're going to fix this industry. There's a lot that is going on, and I suppose that through the discussions we're going to discuss all these things.
But your organization is expected to address these unethical issues in the real estate sector. Why do we still have some of these challenges?
I believe we've had a lot of opportunities. We have platforms, we have conferences, we have so many avenues that we have definitely either supported or advocated for our clients who are going through. Because at the end of the day, when a client is going through an issue with a landlord, they definitely will come back to the agent to let you know, this is what I'm going through. We've had issues. People had come to us to tell us they've paid monies and, they haven't seen the agent, and we have asked them, what agency are they? Because when you are a tenant looking for a property, you need to do your due diligence. You need to make sure that you're working with the right person. You're working with an agent that belongs to an association that is, affiliated with the government, or somebody knows this, a credible association. But the fact of the matter is, people go out there and they just call anybody on the street and tell them they're looking for a house to rent. And then at the end of the day, by the time you realize, things have happened and it's difficult to solve the problems.
Okay.
And so we as an association are always telling people to deal with the right people, deal with registered agents who are part of associations, so that when there's an issue, the associations do have, committees, they have arbitration set up within the association that can solve the problems. But unfortunately, people still fall into the hands of...
So it's an issue of awareness. Maybe the rent seekers themselves do not know where to turn to. So we need to do a lot more awareness. But The tenant association believe that the rent control should be scrapped entirely. Is it a view you share?
I don't believe the rent control should be totally scrapped. I believe that the rent control department will have to be absorbed by one of these agencies. We have GREDA, we have GREPA, we have other associations. I believe that the rent control will have to be working or be absorbed by one of these institutions, because I don't think the rent control department is equipped enough to do what they are doing. They also go through a lot of problems. Just like Mr. Posu was saying, they have a lot of problems. Probably some could be financial, it could also be the law.
Okay.
But if they are able to absorb the rent control under one of these associations, I think that there will be some collaboration and we'll have some of these problems solved.
Right. Let me come to you, Mr. Posu. What is the current staffing and resource capacity of your organization?
Okay.
I know you would want to respond to the demand that your outfit should be scrapped.
Quickly want to address that, and then, you know, my friend here keeps saying we should be scrapped, but he kept bringing issues to the rent control department for it to be resolved. So I see the double standard there. That's one. I want to address this lacuna issue. I'm going to read section 25, subsection 5, quickly. A person who, as a condition of grant, renewal or continuancy of a tenancy, demands, in the case of monthly or short tenancy, the payment in advance of more than a month's rent, or in the case of a tenancy exceeding 6 months, the payment of advance of more than 6 months rent advance, commit an offense and is liable to a conviction by the rent magistrate to a fine not exceeding 250 penalty units. The underlying word there is demand. That's the lacuna.
So you're back to the demand word.
Exactly. And again, Mr. Poku mentioned that it's compulsory that before you rent your place out, there should have been an assessment.
Do you do that?
I'm coming. Under Section 10 of the current law we are using, the topic or the heading there is application for assessment of recoverable rent. Section 1, subsection 1 says, a landlord or a tenant of premises or any other person interested in the premises may apply.
So it's not binding?
It's not binding. No, let's read the law well. It shouldn't come just the underlying way is may. So if a tenant and a landlord meet and they negotiate and they accept the rent, no issue. Okay. But where there is an issue, a landlord has right to apply. Likewise, the tenant has right to apply. So the underlying way is may apply. We cannot just move into town and just be asking people, have you applied? Do you have assessment certificate? So these are the lacunas we are having. So if all of us will agree that the next law we are bringing, we are going to make it sharp, then we are moving forward.
All right.
Okay. So now
let's look at your staffing capacity and all that.
Okay. Yeah. So as we speak now, we have 86 offices.
Across the country?
68 offices across the country.
68?
68. Someone will say, why not every district or every constituency? These are the problems that we are coming to. Accommodation is key. In the law we are reviewing, it was going to mandate every district assembly to provide it with office space.
Okay.
Okay. As we speak now, we have over 128 offices, mining these 68 offices. Though we are not visible in all the districts, you can get one office who is serving 2 or 3 adjacent offices. We know it's not enough based on the logistical problem. So these are where we are as we speak now.
Annually, how many reports or concerns do you receive from Ghanaians regarding some of these rent issues?
Okay, that's fine. So based on our last year statistics, we were able to receive over 88,000 complaints, out of which about 85% was settled in our offices. Okay, just about 4 or 5% went to the magistrate, because we work hand in hand with the magistrate, who are the judges, the district courts. So when we get to a stage where our powers has exceeded, then we pass on the baton to the magistrate, because they have the right to enforce any sanction, any punishment on any tenant or landlord or anybody interested in any property. Right. We don't have that power. So when we get there that sanction has to be meted on any of this, we pass on with our recommendation to the magistrate.
That 5%, have we had anybody punished?
You know, when it gets to the top there, we don't get the report. Ours is to make our recommendation. Though it's in the 1986 law that we can apply for it, okay? But when we get there, we know it has been resolved because at the court, they have their own processes and procedures.
All right. Can you break down the 88,000 complaints? Break it down, maybe the top 5 for us.
Okay. So the top 5, the first on our list are landlords who have brought tenants into our office for non-payment of rent. You know, the Act stipulates that no tenant has right to owe any landlord more than a month's rent. So
that's for the longer period, or for the short stay.
For the short or the
you cannot owe the landlord
more than a month's rent.
More than a month.
Yes. What that means.
But the short stay says that the landlord cannot take more than a month or so.
Yes. So let me
how does that work then?
Exactly. So what it means is that if it's a long term, where you are supposed to pay 6 months rent advance, you've paid the 6 months. The 7th and the 8th you've not paid. That means you are owing the landlord.
Okay.
In the same way, when it's a short term and you are paying monthly, you've paid your month, the 2nd month you've not made your payment, you've committed an offense.
Okay, now give us the top.
Okay. Yeah. So the second issue.
No, let's break that down for us. Out of the 88,000, how many of those have you received of non-payment of rent?
No, then I have to give you. Okay. I will open it. But let me lay down generally what the case is. So the first is non-payment of rent that landlords have brought into our office. Okay. The second is what we call refund of rent advance or any improvement that the tenant has made that they is demanding. And what that means is that you come into somebody's premises because of lack of money in the part of some of the landlords. When you come, they will ask you to finish or renovate a certain part of the structure so that it will be added to your rent or it will be paid to you at a certain point. But when it comes that you have agreed that I've made this renovation, I have to stay in for a year or 6 months, and something happens. Something that happens means you are evicting or you are vacating the place before your tenancy. What the law stipulates is that money should come to you. The money, the unused rent must come to you. But most landlords use this money even before you come in. So getting the money back creates problem. So then the tenant will then bring the landlord for us to help them to retrieve.
So that's the second
one. Third one is most tenants are causing nuisance and annoyance in people's premises. The first discussion, they don't comply. Second, then the landlord has to bring them because they don't have the power. They can't put the power in their own hands to evict. They need to report. Fourth one is using the premises for immoral and illegal purposes. Okay, which means, of course, we know what is moral and illegal in the country. So when the tenant is performing certain things, the landlord can bring the tenant into our premises for us to aid the eviction.
So what do they mention with this immoral thing? It could be anything, so if you can clarify.
Yes, so example, I can only give example that in the part of the ladies, a lady come and rent a premises, then the exchange of men, okay? And then in case of men or boys, they smoke, they drink, they bring people into the premises.
But if someone rents your apartment and he brings multiple women, how should that be the concern of the homeowner? Because he owns that space.
Yeah, so that's why the landlord has no right to interpret what is going on. The issue is that you bring the person before us with our expertise, we investigate. And ascertain.
And is the law even against that?
The law is against that.
That if you rent a place, you cannot bring multiple, people to visit you?
No, the law forbids using the premises for immoral and illegal purposes.
How do you define immoral when the person is doing something in his room?
So that's what I'm explaining, that the landlord may perceive
Perception.
A perception.
Not based on evidence.
Of course, that's why he has to bring the person before us, for us to use our expertise to ascertain whether what the landlord is claiming is correct.
Okay, so that's the fourth one.
Okay, that is the fourth one. The fifth one is this agency issue. Okay, collecting money or people posing as landlords. So in that case, when the actual landlord appears, then there should be a forced eviction. That forced eviction is where the tenant will become a victim because the person didn't do due diligence before departing money to somebody.
Right.
So these are the issues, the top five.
So this 88,000 is just for the 2024?
That's the 2024.
Is it going down or increasing based on the 2023 figures?
It's balancing. It's not going up and it's not coming down, but it's balancing.
All right. Hold
Since
it for me.
2016, we've seen this balancing issue.
Okay. Let me come to Mr. Frederick Opoku. So it appears that you, the tenant yourself, you are contributing to the challenge.
Before I will answer your question. I still insist, and I'll prove in the law that Mr. Kosu is talking about under Section 5, 1E and 1D.
Right.
Now, if you see Section 5, how the function of the rent officer, he's one of them. He's also a rent officer there. So he's typically one of those people over there. Addition to being a PRO, he sits on cases there. And the law requires him, sitting here, Mr. Kosu, to do this. And that's Section 5, Clause 5, 1D.
Right.
Say that the rent officer shall prepare a rent register and any other prescribed documents and specify in the registers or documents the prescribed particulars. I'm coming. And the E shall maintain a register of vacant premises for prospective clients, and on application made by client shall furnish information concerning those premises. What does it mean? It implies that this rent control department has a responsibility under the law to open a vacant register that you can only need a place to rent. Are you okay? You don't fall on these mushroom agents.
Okay.
And that's, people should go to rent control.
Instead of going to agents.
If the landlord has a property, he must come and register.
At the rent control.
Exactly.
So
if not that, no landlord can rent. You must also register your property. Those who come to them, have they registered their property?
Okay.
I say he who seeks equity must come with clean hands.
But does that stop the homeowner?
I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm saying that the law says, is the law we are talking about here, that open a register. I want to ask, maybe I can't ask directly, let me put through you. Mr. Kosu, do they really have a register where myself, Opoku, they'll make it very appealing for tenants and landlords to come open and come and take?
Do you have that register?
Briefly,
so he can advance his point. Do you have that register?
No, let me clarify.
Don't clarify.
The issue is the... Mr. Opoku, I'll let you continue.
You distort my thought.
Yeah,
no.
We just want clarity on that.
I'll let you continue.
I'm not done, so don't interject.
No, I'm not interjecting. I'm not interjecting. We are here to educate.
But the point is that...
Listen, we are here to educate.
He's going to respond to your question.
Carlos, the issue is about the housing deficit. The law, as 1963, recognized agents. The law mandates us to have a vacant premises register. The issue we are having now is the housing deficit. Before, you see, the law is saying when the landlord apply, it's not that we have to go to various houses and then be tallying the various vacant premises. The landlord has to apply. Before the landlord moves outside his house, there are 3 or 4 people looking for the same apartment. If you are a landlord, would you ignore all of these people and come to rent control and come and register your vacant
But the
premises?
landlord is guided by the rules and regulations. He is supposed to do that. And you as rent control, it is part of your responsibility to prepare that register so that the home seeker or the rent seeker would just have come to your office straight and look at the available rooms and opt for.
No, so Carl, what I'm saying is that it's not mandatory. The landlord is not mandated to register that vacant premises with the rent control department. He has option to contract any agent or broker to let his premises be occupied.
Right.
Look, I'm not a lawyer. I am not, and I won't prove to be one, and I won't do anything to be like I'm a lawyer.
Okay.
But this is a plain English language. I am saying that the law says in what section? I'm trying to prove the inefficiencies over there.
Right.
I'm still honest that they are not doing certain things. But you see, they have relegated themselves to resolving disputes. Resolution. That's what they think they are doing there.
Okay.
They think that everything about there's a misunderstanding between landlord and tenant, so we should settle it. Out of the many things that the laws allow you to do, you have taken only one, and if you ask him, oh, we have settled 50,000 cases, and so what? Prevention is better than cure, is that right? One of the things that will enable to prevent that issues is open a register.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
The law says, look, as a rent officer, it's not me saying that. Section 5, 1D or 1E states, and I repeat, Mr. Kosu shall maintain, let me put his name there. Mr. Kosu shall maintain a register of a vacant premises.
But quote the law properly. There's no Kosu
Mr.
there.
Shah.
No, so you read what is there.
No, you say a rent officer.
I'm sure Kosu is not there.
No, he's a rent officer.
No, just say rent officer.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Shall maintain a register of vacant premises for prospective clients, and on application, when I apply as a tenant, shall furnish the information concerning those premises.
Okay.
Therefore, you are required, and more to the point, landlord it's like a business.
Okay.
And that you must play by the rules of the game. A landlord should, so that if you register your premises, it will enable the rent control to know what is happening in your premises. Because if you have not registered your premises, you have to register.
Okay. So the point you're making is that the rent control department is not living up to that responsibility.
They are contributing to these agents. They are also a contributing factor.
They are breeding
because they have
agents.
an edge on their own responsibilities. People have taken advantage that there is no any official agency, right? Like informal agency, like Madam, what do you call it?
Victoria.
Victoria's one is like more professional, like real estate agents.
Right.
And we have the mushroom agents, those who sit under the tree.
Okay.
And they are in their majorities of 90s and what have you. And Mr. Posu, rent control department or the rent control department have not been able to live up to expectation.
Okay, I think your point is largely made, and we are seeing that there are some lacuna in the law and lack of enforcement also the part of the rent control department. But of course, you as a tenant yourselves, you go to people's homes, like you said, and you create all kinds of nuisance and all that. So it appears that both parties are contributing to the problem. Let me go to Madam Victoria Sampa to check how we can resolve some of these concerns, because you appear to be more a professional body, so you can advise the way forward on this. Apart from just the regulations, what really can be done to resolve some of the challenges we are facing in the rent space?
Yes, Carlos. So based on the discussions we've had so far, you can definitely see that due to the fact that the Rent Act is old and it's outdated, some of the things that Mr. Kosu has even mentioned within the Rent Act is old and doesn't even apply to today's real estate market. And so the first thing that I said, and I'll say it again, is that there has to be a review of that Rent Act. And I would want him to comment on that, because I know there is a discussion on a new Rent Act, or a review of the the old Rent Act. Now, as far as what needs to be done, I believe that the associations and the Rent Act will have to work together. The government will have to give room. The government will have to empower the associations to be able to work hand in hand. I know the Rent Control Department is a part of, is a government department. And so when I say government, I'm talking about the Ministry of Works and Housing. I'm talking about the Rent Control Department as well. Why are they not working with the associations? There has to be some kind of collaboration. There has to be some kind of education, because the agents, the professionals, and we call ourselves realtors, we are on the ground. We know what is actually happening. We know what our tenants are going through. We also know what our landlords are going through. So I believe that there has to be some kind of collaboration And also, Fred's organization is, the Rental Association. And we all have to come together and work together rather than always have the government have its say in what has to be done. They are not on the field. They don't know what happens. There has to be some kind of collaboration between the agents, professional ones, and the government will also have to empower the professional associations to do the job. If the government is not doing that, then it leaves room for any mushroom agent, as Fred mentioned. If the government is not empowering the professional associations, then it's leaving room for anybody to get up and do whatever they want to do. And that's why we find ourselves in this situation.
Right. Thank you so much, Madam Victoria Sampa. To you, Mr. Kwasu, Victoria wants to know, where are we with the new law?
Okay, so what happened was that during the last administration, we were about to pass the rent bill. But unfortunately, the administration, so we've kickstarted engaging stakeholders to onboard new ideas so that we can fashion everybody's concern into the Rent Act, which will be...
What challenge will that new law actually solve?
Okay, so Madam Vicky mentioned the change of name. We were feeling, or people saw that way, it's too intimidating to call Rent Control Department. So the first thing we wanted to change was the name. Secondly, we want... No, it's not agreed on. So there are other names that have been proposed, so I cannot try. The second issue, which was key, is that we want to set up what we call assessment committees in the various districts along our schools, so that we'll have a committee. If we go to our schools, for instance, we'll have the hostel managers, the representatives of the schools, even the administration of the schools, so that they will come together and factor in all the necessary inputs and come out with a realistic rent, so that when the rent comes out, it will not be that it's a rent control department who is imposing rent on you. Currently, what we have is that the rent officer will go and do the assessment and come out with a rent, recoverable rent. But now what we're factoring in is the assessment committees. When we come to the district, we'll have surveyors in there, tenants union rep there, landlords union there, and any professional along or within the district, so that they will sit when the application is done. They will sit. The rent officer will excuse himself from it, so that when the rent, recoverable rent comes out, it will be a collective decision of all the stakeholders in that district. So that is also key in that. And then the issue about this 6 months rent, we factor in the interests of both landlords and tenants. You know, government alone cannot solve this housing deficit. So if the private sector is coming in and you want to restrict the private sector upon all the investment that they put in the structure, and want to restrict them that no, you have to pay monthly, you have to collect monthly rent, then we will ask ourselves, when are they going to recoup their investment? So now we push it to 1 year. That 1 year, what it means is that if you are a landlord and you demand more than the 1 year rent, or you receive more than the 1 year rent. I was
expecting to use the word receive.
Exactly. So this is the lacuna we want to. If you receive more than the 1 year rent, it wouldn't matter if the tenant lure you to collect it. So far as you've collected more than the stipulated thing, you'll be to answer
so under
the law.
The new law, if passed, it's yet to be passed. No homeowner can actually receive more than 1 year advance. And rent seekers are supposed to pay up to 1 year
maximum, from monthly up to maximum. You know, at that point, you, the tenant, can negotiate with the landlord. If he or she agrees that I'll be paying monthly, I'll pay in 2 months or 6 months, but it shouldn't exceed what we agreed on.
We'll find out from the tenants what they make of that proposal. But also, if you watch the social media space, a lot of agents are using social media to swindle, you know, home seekers and all that. Do you have any arrangements in that new law to cure that challenge?
Okay, so just as I mentioned, the Real Estate Agency Act is meant to regulate anybody who calls himself an agent or a broker. And you cannot, just like the medical profession, if you not be licensed, you can't go on practicing. So if you look at the section, let me see, where you have the license of
the
agents, it says you cannot call yourself an agent or a broker if you not be educated, for instance, examined, issued with a license or certificate.
So
If
for
you
the
do
public,
that,
how do they
yeah.
know who is a broker? Where do we go to find out that this person is licensed to do this job online so that we don't become vulnerable when we're looking for accommodation?
Okay. So just like what I was looking for, a person shall not provide real estate agency services, provide services as a real estate agency broker or agent, engage in any business connected with the provision of real estate agency services, or engage in any real estate transaction. If that person is not licensed by the real estate council as a real estate broker or a real estate agent. So what the council is meant, part of their function, is to be licensing and issuing certificate to anybody who wants to transact or be an agent or broker. They also have the right to be visiting the premises. So if you don't have an office, you can't call yourself an agent or broker. They will be inspecting and make sure that all the necessary documents you need to provide to any client who comes to you. So in one
sentence,
yeah,
for viewers,
yes,
someone who is watching, who is online,
yeah,
looking for accommodation, what should he or she do in this regard so they don't fall victim to people who want to swindle
so
them?
what I would say is that, you know, the last administration that's passed, they've now formed a new board and a new acting CEO has been installed at the Real Estate Agency Council. He has started engaging. The last time I heard is the Ghana Real Estate Agency Association. If he has met them, he has met rent control, just as Madam Vicky was mentioning, there's this collaboration. And they are continuing meeting all stakeholders so that they will come out with education and their plans. Because first of all, they need to educate, issue license before you can call yourself an agent or broker.
Okay.
So for now, we want to give the Real Estate Agency Council some few months to do this consultation with the stakeholders, and then they will come up with their plan as to what to do next.
Okay, thank you so much. Frederick, now, Mr. Kwasu clearly outlined that a few things will be changing. The name itself will change, and under the new law, you are going to be paying up to 1 year. Good news?
Before I will answer you, let me first of all say a very big, because you know the name, the National Tenant of Ghana had the opportunity to meet President Mahama, then candidate Mahama, August. And it was one of the things that he said, which we also saw in his manifesto, which he promised us, that he is going to review the rent law.
Yeah.
2, he's going to change the rent control to become the rent authority. So I know he is not the president. I know my father, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. You promised us, and we are waiting patiently, our father. We know you say you do. So kindly, respectfully, try to ensure that we can fast track the amendments or a new bill that will bring into force the rent authority. And I trust President Mahama will do that. Now, you know, there's one concern that maybe we can't leave here without me talking about it. Did you hear about the rent assistance scheme? Oh, you didn't hear?
No, proceed.
Then, S.Y. Akufo-Addo's government, there was this something called NARAS. And the National Tenant Union of Ghana was invited when they were launching the thing.
That arrangement was to take care of
rent, like loans,
support,
rent loans.
Yeah.
And in that, the same rent law, the same scheme, they agreed that if you want 2 years, they will give you the 2 years. Are you okay? And that is to encourage the illegality, trying to illegalize the illegal. That's what I mean. Because if the Rent Act Section 25 is talking about 6 months rent advance, and a new policy that comes and says that we can give you 2 years if you are ready to pay.
Now, they argue that it was a loan that will be given to the person seeking rent. They are not going to pay directly to the homeowner. But what is the point on that?
Yes, my point is that, in fact, we have, as we speak, my big brother, Minister for Housing, Honorable Kenneth Ajay, we have petitioned him that with immediate effect, the rent scheme should be suspended for him to review, because there's a big time lacuna. And for that matter, it has become a Ponzi scheme. Ponzi.
How?
One, are you aware, Carlos, that if you apply, whether they will give you the money or not, they will take you 100 Ghana cedis.
Who will take you 100 Ghana cedis?
They have actually subcontracted it to somebody, a private man, Mr. Champon, Rent Masters, and he's in charge of the scheme.
Well, we cannot independently verify the names you're mentioning.
But I was there, I've been there. So I'm not lying. I'm saying that he's called Mr. Champon, and the name is Rent Masters. It's a private entity that is managing that project. Okay. Now, we were aware that almost 30 million Ghana cedis has been sunk into that. And our issue is that we have a big problem. So we are begging our minister, once again here, that since we have petitioned him, we know it's his own right senses and fairness, he will do it for us.
Okay. Before I give the final word to Madam Victoria, 30
so
seconds.
Carlos, on this rental issue, as we speak now, I want my brother to go under the right to information to get information. As we speak now, there are about 3,600 beneficiaries. Out of the 27 million, he's mentioned over 30 million. I don't know where he got the figure from. Government has pushed in 27 million. Out of that, because of the interest of 12% that you have to pay, it has accrued, because it's a revolving fund, it has accrued to 49 million as we speak now.
So
it's beneficial.
He is talking.
Okay. So go under
you are saying it. I will not go anywhere.
So go under the right to information.
I think the point that we made.
He's the spokesperson for the rental scheme.
So go under the right.
I won't go to any rental.
You say over 30 million. Where did you get that?
I'm saying 30 million.
Where did you get that? It's 27 million.
Okay, I think the point have been made. Let me give the final word to Madam Victoria.
To get the right figures.
Don't be protecting them.
Let me give the final word to Madam Victoria Sampa in 30 seconds.
Well, thank you so much again, Carlos. I believe that from every discussion that is going on, you can see there's a huge confusion, and there's a headache. There's a problem, and I don't know how we are going to solve this problem when the people that sit in the right seats are not even listening. Okay, and I want to use your platform to let Mr. Kposu know that we, as the Ghana Real Estate Professionals Association, we want to be a part of this new law they're talking about. If you do not involve us, this is where we make mistakes, and then we can't go back and fix the problems.
Right.
So I want Mr. Kposu to take it from today that if they do not involve us, they will go back and make mistakes. So the new law will have to take into consideration of partnering with us to make sure that we do the right thing once and for all.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I want to
briefly, unfortunately, we have to leave it here because we're running out of time. Thank you so much
I just want to add one more thing.
Quick one.
I also want to use your platform to plead to the Ministry of Works and Housing and also plead to the government that the Ghana Real Estate Professionals Association have been working on this real estate industry since 2011. We want to be a part of this new law, which is the Ghana Real Estate Agency Act.
Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Carlos Kaloni. As always, this has been The Probe. Bye-bye.